Hi everyone, and welcome, believe it or not, to the very last summer school webinar. We've had a lot of fun over the last 8 weeks. I'm looking up here because I've put the camera high up so that you can see the mat, and I've got my lovely colleague Dinah here. And what we're going to do is we're going to review the whole of the summer school, and we're going to do it in a practical way. We've got polls for you, but also I've made a kind of list of things to try out with Dinah, because there's been so much really interesting stuff coming up during the whole summer school, hasn't there?
Amazing input, yeah, and very different, lots of very different things.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So what we thought we'd do is kind of do a treatment, because Dinah can never get a treatment anymore.
It's true, I can't.
So we thought it'd be a good opportunity to maybe do some shiatsu on Dinah. And what I thought we'd do is we'll go through each of the presenters and we'll do a little practical. So you can follow on. If you've got someone to work on, you can try it, or maybe next time you do a treatment, you can maybe try some of this stuff out. Loads of people from all over, America, France, Zurich, the Netherlands, Germany, and from North Norfolk, Rachel. Hi there.
Hey.
So let's just have a quick look at the slides, which I've got prepared.
I see these.
Here we go. So here we are. This is connections. Can you believe that we've had 8 weeks now? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a real-time session. I'm going to link the presenters and the themes with the treatment, and then at the end I'll remind you how to access the recordings. Don't forget, if you missed any of the webinars, they're all online on the Summer School online resource there. Okay, so I'm going to do a demonstration treatment, and just to remind you, we had Nick and Margot doing clean language, Shakura doing setting up the key field. Actually, she can tell me if I'm doing it right later on.
In the chat.
Yeah, she's looking after the chat, Shakura, today. Then we had a session with Seiki and Alice. Meridian, I missed the Meridian Yoga and the Tao sessions because I was ill myself. I was off ill those 2 weeks. But we're going to just mention some of Kat's work. We're going to link the Tao attitude with Cindy's thing, which was more about information, really, not just somatic empathy, but also information. So that's the plan. We're going to do that. So first of all, let's just find out whether you use clean language or not. I'm just going to run the poll. Let's see how influenced you've been by the summer school. Let's see how many of you actually do use clean language. You want to just vote in and see? I'm not sure. Okay, look, we've got a majority of you using clean language, so I'm going to do some clean language on Dinah to start with. And just to remind you that the clean language webinar and lots of other resources with Nick and Margot is on the online course on New Energy Work, so you can check it out there when you do it. So here we go. Clean language is something I use a lot, and I know you do, Dinah, as well.
I do.
So should we start off?
Sure. Oh, I see. We're going to do it step by step.
Yeah, let's do it step by step.
Okay,
yeah.
Great.
So I've got my notes. So how are you doing?
Well, I'm pretty good considering.
Considering?
Considering.
Yeah, go on.
I'm sad about the end of summer.
Oh, okay.
Feels like hasn't been much of a summer.
No, that's true.
And already it's creeping to autumn.
Okay, yeah.
And I would love to be swimming in a bedazzled, warm, silken sea on holiday.
That's the outcome question, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's getting colder and greyer.
Okay.
And so I'm feeling a bit that transition, not my favourite.
No. Can I ask you a clean question about that?
You can.
You said that you felt sad about the end of summer. So that feeling of sadness at the end of summer, what's it like?
It's a bit like,
Oh, really? Okay. And that feeling, do you feel that anywhere particular in your body, do you think?
It's actually in my neck to some degree.
Oh, right, okay.
I've got a lot happening in my neck.
Yeah.
This morning, okay, so for some months,
Yeah.
maybe more than a year, I've had an issue with this arm.
Oh, right, okay.
Bone pain.
Bone pain.
in the arm.
Yeah.
Spreading to muscle pain.
Okay.
Across the chest.
Yeah. Okay.
I've done some work on it.
Yeah.
And I feel that it's linked to a traumatic breaking of this collarbone.
Oh, okay.
Some unresolved trauma.
Okay.
I've done various bits of work and it's much better.
Okay.
But this morning I was doing clean language with one of my clients.
Yeah.
And I was trying to get her to listen to her body.
Yeah.
And she was blank, finding it difficult.
Right, okay.
So I, at one point, used myself as an example.
Oh, yeah.
And was amazed to find that when I looked for the first place that attracted my attention in my physical body,
Yes.
rather than here,
Yeah.
it was here.
Right, on the other side.
Yeah.
Right,
And it
okay.
was more in this area.
Yeah.
And I mean, I didn't explore it further because it was
No.
a session, but I was,
Oh.
and just then when we were talking about the,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I really feel it
In the neck.
in the neck, maybe both sides, but
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so I could go on, obviously, go on and go deeper and deeper, but we've only got an hour and I've got to go through everything else. So should we go on to the outcome question now?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so go
Except
on,
that
yeah.
I've got one other thing.
Go ahead, Dinah.
Sorry.
No, that's all right. You don't have to apologise. Yeah. What is it?
I've not been sleeping long enough lately.
Okay. Yeah.
Trouble getting to sleep or waking too early.
Okay.
And what happens when I'm not sleeping is my mind goes into overdrive.
Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah.
And I've got this sense of somewhere my mind and spirit are not quite aligned or resonating or at ease with each other. It's like I've got layers.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Instead of a continuum between mind and spirit. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Yeah.
And what I would like...
Yes, this goes on to the outcome question. What would you like to have happen?
What I would like
yeah.
is a more serene, smooth feeling in my mind.
Yeah, okay.
And more of a easy connection out to the spiritual level, if you like.
Yeah, okay, right.
As opposed to this, it's almost like, I don't know, layers of a thermos or a hot water bottle cover or something. It's like I've got lines.
Okay, right. Well, that's pretty amazing.
It was weird. It's
okay,
weird. Yeah.
So I can follow that up, because what I can say is, like, if you did have this easy connection between those layers, between your mind and the spiritual level, what would that be like?
It would be like radiance.
Oh, okay, okay.
But a sort of, it was almost a liquid, a calm, like a, I don't know. I'm thinking of a lake or something. It's a liquid, easy radiance.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a bright, dazzling.
No.
It's more
cool.
of a, yeah.
Okay. Wow. Right. Great.
I love that, please.
Yes. All right. Brilliant. Okay. So.
Tinnitus. I'd like that to stop, please.
Oh, as well. You've got that as well. Okay.
I'm a demanding fan.
They've got plenty of things. Okay. Well, I've got a very interesting experiment to do. But I'm going to have to go and get another pen because this is working. You can lie down for a second while I get some more pens.
You head this end.
Yes. Right, I'm going to put myself under real pressure now because I know Shakura's watching. And
now move this side. You want your
yeah,
mouse?
yeah. So what I'm going to do now, I've got an idea. I had an idea based on what Shakura did with us with setting up the ki field and the difference between ki and intention. And it's something I've never tried before, but I thought I'd try it. What I thought I'd do is do a hara diagnosis and do the Kyojitsu reaction with the intention of the Kyojitsu resolving. And then I thought I'd try it by using ki. In other words, hold the jitsu and actually tonify the kyo. So I thought that might be a really interesting experiment to do. So I'm going to try my best. I'm feeling a little bit nervous because Shakura's watching. But before we do that, I'm just going to find out whether you do that setting up the ki field thing. Do you set up your ki field? Hopefully if you went to Shakura's webinar, maybe you've been doing it. Let's just find out. So you do set up the ki field before you start? And we'll have a look. Okay, look at that. We've got majority saying yes, and we've got some people saying not sure. Okay, so I'm going to do my best. And just to remind you, this was Shakura, and she did a lovely session with us, which is all recorded and it's all ready for you to look at online. Okay, so here we go. Right. So one thing I'll do later, Dinah, is I'll do some scanning using Cindy's techniques, but for now I'll just keep it with the hara. But what I'll do is I'll use the intention of this mental and spiritual level disharmony thing as the main focus. Cool. Okay, otherwise it could get too complicated very quickly.
Yeah, I realise that.
Yeah. Because that seems to be the thing you were most interested in.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up the ki field. So I'm just going to do exactly what Shakura taught us to do. And you might want to follow along with me on this. So I'm going to go, first of all, into my own alignment. And then I'm going to progressively go outwards from my body into the room. And then I'm going to go further out into the building. And then out into the city, and then the country, and then the whole world. And then I'm kind of imagining going out into the void, out into the universe. Okay, so I'm going to keep that set up, and I'm going to come back into my body again. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to palpate Dinah's hara, keeping that space, and I'm just going to see what meridians come up if I'm focusing on that mental and spiritual disharmony, and see what happens. So here we go. Okay, so I'm getting heart and small intestine jitsu, and I think it's bladder kyo. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just going to check that. Yeah. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'll do an experiment, Dinah. I just want to be interested to know whether you feel a difference. Okay, so I've got the heart jitsu and the kidney kyo. So I'm thinking about that on the mental and the spiritual levels. So we've got the Z and the focus of the mind, clarity of the mind, yeah. And then we've got the Shen, haven't we? The spiritual level of the heart. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do the Kyojitsu reaction, and I'm just going to use an intention, because in Shakura's session we did some really interesting experiments of using the intention, imagining that it's already happened, that imbalance has already happened.
That I'm perfect.
You're perfect, yeah, exactly, yeah. And the interesting thing for me is that because the Kyojitsu reaction is the antipathogenic ki, that's what Pauline taught us. It's it is that harmonized state. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then I can experiment by doing that, keeping that intention of that harmony between the Shen and the Z, okay, as an intention, a pure intention. See what happens in terms of the feeling of the connection with the Kyojitsu reaction. And then what I'll do is I'll drop down to the ki level, You remember Shikura had this thing about the ki swirling around? I remember that so vivid.
Yeah.
And what I'll do is I'll go into the, I'll palpate the heart, and then I'll use ki projection into the kidney. Because in a way, I think that kind of deconstructs what we do with the Hara diagnosis in a way, because there definitely is an element of mini treatment there.
Absolutely.
So there is, usually we do use our ki to a certain extent, but there is also this sense of the harmony of the Kyojitsu, isn't it?
Yes, it is what Pauline taught, was to go into treatment mode for that moment
She did,
of checking the reaction.
She did.
So listening and a treatment moment, isn't it?
Yeah, so should we try it?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to do it in slow motion. I'm going to access that ki field. Okay, so I'm visualizing the Shen and the Z, but I'm also visualizing exactly as you described it, this sort of kind of easy connection of the layers out here. Okay, and I'm just going to keep that intention. Keep myself connected out into the ki field, keep that intention. Okay. All right. I think I got it just in the middle there. Did you feel it? Just in the middle there?
Just a moment.
Yeah, just a moment. Yeah. Okay. So then if I drop down to the ki level, I'm imagining the ki swirling around. Okay. And I'm going to put my hand, I'm going to go more into the density of the heart. Okay. And now I'm going to go into treatment. Actually, I'm just going to increase the vibrational level out a bit.
Yes,
it's too physical.
I just felt it in my body.
Yeah, it's too physical, yeah. So I'm going to bring the intention out. Yeah. And I'll try again, I'll do it here. Okay, get out into the higher frequency. That's better. In fact, I got a stronger reaction on that level. Yeah. But that was a different experience though, wasn't it?
It was quite vividly different.
Yeah. What was different for you?
Well, it's the first time that you palpated. Okay, so the very first stage with the intention.
Yeah.
Actually, it felt strong.
Yeah.
Even if not on the Hara, but I had a moment. Well, it just felt golden.
Oh right, okay, all right.
Which is a bit like that feeling that I said I wanted. That
right, okay.
It's kind of what was my word? It was bright, but it was
easy and
sort of serene. Yes,
serene. Yeah,
yes,
that's it, yeah,
and almost like liquid. And so I got a flash of that.
Yeah.
When you used intention only.
Right. Yeah. I think I felt that it was like a sort of little moment, wasn't it?
Yes, and it was like a band, like a picture of a sunset, or I don't know.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
And when you first
palpated
the Kyojitsu, I just felt my body.
Yeah, it was my fault because I brought it too far down with dense. Yeah.
So I was aware of my heart.
Yeah.
Not so much the kidney bladder thing, but my heart particularly.
And the interesting thing is I didn't get a very strong reaction when I did it then either. So I don't think there is much going on that lower vibrational level. No. And then when I switched it up to the higher vibrational level.
Yeah, it had a very different quality though than this liquid gold thing.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm not sure I can characterize it.
Do you know what the difference for me was? I felt there was more movement.
Yes. What I was going to say was that I could feel change.
Yes.
It's just I can't quite put my finger on what was changing.
No.
And it reminded me that it's my mind that is part of it. It's not just two spiritual levels.
No.
You know what I mean? It's definitely this sense of mind level, not quite match or not quite aligning, not quite.
Harmonizing. Yeah. Okay, good. I must go into the chat. I'm going to go into the chat and just find out what Shikura is saying. See whether I'm going to ask Shikura, how did I do? Was that anything like you? Oh, good. I got very good for Shakura.
Oh, well
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, that was such an interesting experiment because I think that actually when we're doing shiatsu, we're going between those things.
This is what I was thinking. A lot of the time you move between them, don't you?
You do, yeah.
And
I never had it so clearly deconstructed as when Shakura did it. I've never had it so clear before, and that's what I think is so interesting. Okay, so
oh yes,
Seiki. Yes, then I thought we could experiment with what Alice was doing. If you were on the Alice webinar, Seiki opening and closing. We loved that, didn't we?
it was so great.
We had a great session.
First, we had to open to an object and then close to it repeatedly.
That's it, yeah.
And then we shifted to doing that to a person.
Yes, that's right, yeah. So I've actually got you're a live person now. I can actually try it on, yeah. So do you do opening and closing? Not sure, yes, no, not sure. Oh, we're about split 50-50 here, look. So there we go.
But I think that poll happened during Alice's webinar in her presentation.
Yeah.
She also talked about how we automatically, naturally
Yes.
do it.
I think that's true.
And that with our clients, we consciously open.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
That was part of the, that's one of the things that we can do to encourage resonance, is that we open to them.
Yep. And there is Alice Wilton.
A very lovely Alice Wilton.
Yeah, it was great fun to have her in here. Okay, so should we try opening and closing then?
Yes.
Because that's something, that's another very powerful deconstruction of the actual connection that you make.
It was so great. Yes.
Yeah. So again, I'm out of shot now. I'm standing up. Yeah. So let me just try it. Shall I try it? I thought I'd try it without contact and with contact. Sure. Yeah. So, and again, I think it's something that we do automatically, but let's just see. So I'm closing. Wow, this is actually harder than I thought. This is hard.
This is what
I think
found.
because I've connected already with you with Ahara, it's really hard. So let me just. Okay. Yeah, I think I've got it. Okay, and then opening.
Wow.
Did you feel that?
The most dramatic thing.
Yeah, I better close for a minute. Hang on. No, I'll keep it open for now.
That's fine.
Yeah, go on.
The thing that was really dramatic was when you really opened again.
Yeah.
I felt listened to.
Oh, okay.
In a way that I hadn't when you were closed. It is really hard, and we talked about that in Alice's webinar, how difficult it is to close, how it feels like you're cutting off.
Yeah.
And it's not natural.
No.
For us.
Do you know, the only way I managed to do it was I had to systematically close all my chakras because they kept opening all over the place. So I thought, right, I'll go into my central channel and I would literally contract them all up, and then I found myself shut off sort of thing. But it was really hard to do. Yeah. But do you know what happened to me is when I actually managed to get fully open, I suddenly got this image of this, just at the end there, image of this harmonizing thing. Yeah. First of all, I was attracted to him or the central channel, and then suddenly I got a glimpse of that. And it must have been because I programmed it before with the scanning and everything.
Yeah.
So, cool. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's Seiki.
Yes.
Don't worry, Don. I'll try and give you a bit of shiatsu before we finish.
That's fine.
It's all a big experiment.
Yes.
Okay. Oh my God! Look, it's nearly halfway through already.
Ooh.
I can't believe it. Okay, now I actually missed I missed the next two webinars because I was ill, unfortunately, for a couple of weeks. Thank you, by the way, the lovely Kat and Basti for covering for me. So I just want to see if you used Meridian Yoga. This is something I do use, actually. I often give Meridian Yoga to my clients. So let's just see how widely you're using it. When I say do you use it, I mean, might be for yourself, but it might also be for your clients. So, Okay, not bad. Slightly more than half of you are actually using Meridian Yoga. Okay, cool. And just to remind you, Kat's whole session is online for you to look at, and it's something we can maybe just bear in mind as we go through. We could maybe think of something we can give to Dinah. Okay, and then Basti did the session of the knowledge of the Tao, and this I think links very much with Cindy's work, because we talked a lot about non-judgmental attitude.
Absolutely.
Non-judgmental, and I think that's one of the strongest things about Taoism is you don't judge whether things are good or bad. You just and hold the center.
And actually, it was also in one of Alice's lists of aspects that allow resonance. It was also non-judgment.
Right, I think it was. Yes, it was.
Yeah. Along with flow, warmth, blah blah blah.
Yes.
And no judgment.
Right. Okay. So there are.
So
links
that
there.
is, and of course we get taught, don't we, in our Shiatsu training, to place our clients in unconditional positive regard.
Yeah, that's a Carl Rogers thing, isn't it?
Exactly, and that's got the same quality. It's like you don't judge in that moment, do you?
Taoism is very good for that.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Basti didn't judge himself harshly for having left his slides behind or his book behind.
Oh, really?
And he extemporized boldly and bravely.
Oh, well done. Yeah, I missed all that. So
you had to be very spontaneous.
Well, that's Tao in action,
exactly,
isn't it?
That's what he decided, rather than stress about it.
So do you ever use some of the Taoist stories you may have heard about how to stay chilled under all conditions?
Yeah.
There we are. Look, that's the highest rating so far. Well done, Basti. You've obviously made a big influence there, although you may have been using it before. And just to remind you, here is Basti Deans. That's what he looks like. And he does a lot of Shiatsu and Qigong, and he actually is pretty chilled, isn't he?
He's very chilled.
He's very chilled, so he lives it. So that was really good. So that brings us to the last webinar that we did with Cindy, and I'm just going to remind you what Cindy looks like. Here is Cindy, and she did a really detailed session, and there's a few exercises in there that I'm really interested in trying out. And if you went to the webinar, you're probably more aware now about how you get information from your client. But I'm going to run the poll now and just see how aware you feel you are of how you get information from your client in diagnosis and when you're working on them. Oh, I think Cindy's going to beat Basti. Oh, look, Cindy's got the highest rating so far. She'll love that. You obviously she made a really big difference there, so that's really good. Because when we did this poll at the beginning of the webinar, I think it was, it's about 50, 60, something like percent. Yeah, so that's a real massive thing. Okay, cool. Well, I've been really looking forward to this because I think we both agree that exercise we did about how your whole body-mind sets itself up is vivid. It's a very vivid thing, isn't it? Yeah. So what Cindy did was she basically we did a practical exercise, and she showed us that actually before we even listen, before we look, and before we feel, our whole body-mind sets itself up in a very particular energetic way in order to receive the information. And it was really quite a vivid, dramatic thing, and something that I can't say that I was aware of that, not so vividly. No.
And it was funny because I think I told you I've done exercises like that with Cindy before as part of our Neigong training. She's my teacher for Neigong. And what made me laugh about, because I was on the chat that night for her webinar, was when you described how you had experienced the 3 different ways of picking up information, and they exactly matched my own experience.
Right.
And it was like, oh, okay, so maybe they're universal, or
maybe there's something in common.
Just something about the quality of looking, listening, sensing. Somatosensation, whatever. Very interesting.
So what I thought I'd do is for this exercise now, before I actually start working, and in fact what I thought I'd do is combine the opening and closing and then I'd open to start with, and then what I thought we'd do is we could use listening, looking, and feeling, those three modes. And I thought I'd do a whole body scan using those three modes, and then I'd check the hara and see whether I get different information from the heart and the kidney.
Yes.
Cool. It would be interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah. And so should we try that? Again, if you're working with someone, you can try it. Otherwise, follow along with me and try it, and you can try it out with your clients next time you have a client. Okay, so what I'm going to do is use that exercise. Now, if you were at Cindy's webinar, you'll remember that we looked at our hand, didn't we? Remember?
That was one of the things we did, yes.
Yeah, we listened to our hand.
Focus. No, it was our chest that we used.
Oh, we used the chest. That's right, the chest, yeah.
The hand thing was different qualities of attention.
Oh, that's right, that's right. Thank you.
Focus and
that's right.
Narrow and so on.
That's right, yeah.
But it was our chest that we looked, listened and sensed.
Sensed, yeah.
Somatic sensation.
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to get a little bit of paper. And I'm going to experiment with it. And you can follow through with me, and let's see if we get any differences in the experience. So I'm looking for two things. I'm looking for a difference in the experience, and I'm also looking for any difference in the information that I get. Okay, so I'm going to do the looking, listening, and the sensing. Okay, and I'm going to start off by doing like a whole body scan, whole energy body scan, and I'm going to draw three of them and see what they like. Okay, obviously I'm not going to be looking with my eyes, obviously, no, but I'm going to set up that feeling. Okay, ready? Okay, so here we go. Okay, so now I'm doing the opening. Okay, I'm going to do a contact as well. I'm going to contact energy field first. But before I move, I'm going to set up my mode for listening. I'm going to make sure I go out to the vibrational level, because it's a little bit physical to start with. Okay, that's the first one. Just write some notes.
Was that listening?
That was listening.
Yeah. I was expecting looking. Listening.
Yeah. Listening. Okay. Right, so that's listening. Now I'm going to set myself up and it's going to be looking. I'm going to keep my eyes relaxed, so I'm not actually literally looking like this, but let's just see what happens. So, opening. Okay, looking. Okay, right. And if you follow through with me, you might get a sense of the different types of contact that's happening. Okay, and you can probably do it yourself actually. You can scan through me, I'm sure. Yeah. Okay, so, and now it's sensing. Okay. So, setting up the sensing. Okay, now I'm going to switch my attention to you. Sensing. Whoops, too low frequency. Sorry about that. Maybe I'll get the frequency up a bit. There we go. Okay, see if I can paint. Okay.
Golly.
Did it feel different to you?
Really different.
Yeah. What was different?
I wanted a big fat pen so I could draw pictures.
Yeah, do you want to? No.
Doesn't matter.
No, describe to me what happened.
I'll describe, yeah.
Yeah.
So when you were listening
the first time, yeah?
If I'd had a big fat pen, I'd be drawing, point this way,
Yeah.
a kind of fluffy, blobby, that shape.
Okay. Yeah.
Then when you were looking,
Yeah.
it was like diamond, I can't describe it, lozenge shapes, lots of lozenge shapes, like a cubist painting type of thing, but lozenges.
Yeah.
And then when you did sensing, it was very different. And it went, yes, first of all, it was some...
I went in quite low frequency when I first did the sensing, and it was very physical to start with. And then what I did was I tried to then open up the frequency.
Yes, and it really changed. So I
Yeah.
got a sort of releasing moment at the beginning.
Yeah.
But then it was as though it was something kind of far away, but at the same time very close. I can't.
Oh, right. Okay.
Just
see my drawings?
Yeah.
Look, this is so interesting because look, this is what I drew, and this is. I'll just show you. Look.
Okay. So listening. Oh, I had a rough there.
Yeah, you know, it was more like this fluffy thing you were talking about.
Okay,
it's more
my shouldery, necky thing.
Yeah, and then, but the main thing is the texture of it was much denser in a funny way, in the sense that it was compared to the looking. I felt the texture was denser for me.
The listening.
Yeah, the listening. It was different.
Yeah.
The looking was more space. In fact, I've wrote less dense there. Look,
Oh,
less dense.
yes.
And then the sensing was a combination of being in your body.
Yes. And
then
out in the universe or something.
Yeah. Something
Yes,
like
which
that.
was a bit my experience as
Was
well.
it?
Or
Yeah.
out in the house.
Yeah.
Vibration, or wider layers or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what I was trying to work out when I was doing it is like, what? I wonder what I normally do.
I know, and I was thinking...
Have you got any idea?
Well, I think my notion of listening
Yeah.
is nearest to what I do.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, that's so interesting, isn't it? Oh, I tell you what, we ought to write. I'm going to do a poll. I'm going to do one right now. I'm going to do a poll on the fly, everyone, because what I'd really be interested in is which mode do you think you use? Okay, the most. Okay,
The most, yeah.
Yeah, the most. Yeah. And which one did you feel the most resonance with as you watch me do it?
Listening, looking, feeling in your own body.
Yeah, that's it. That was the order I did it in, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay, I'm going to put listening, looking, and feeling. I'll just be interested to know. I'm going to share it right now and just see which one do you think you use the most? Which of those three modes do you think you use the most? Whoa!
Feeling.
Look at
Everybody's
that!
just feeling.
Way out.
Let's see what they're saying in the chat.
Yeah, let's look at the chat. Wow.
And it's all quiet on the chat.
Yeah, concentrating too much on what they're doing, yeah.
Okay.
Right, so it's interesting.
How the poll ended?
Yeah. Let's have a look at the poll. 73%.
Yeah.
That's kind of links with the somatic empathy thing, doesn't it?
Yeah, completely.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
And I mean, we probably use a combination, don't you think?
I think so, yeah, because I think I'm quite visual myself.
I think of myself as quite visual, but I think when I'm tuning into my clients,
it's closer to the listening thing.
It's more like listening.
Right. There we go.
Interesting.
Okay, so now if I work, and what I'm going to do now is I thought I'd work for like 10, 15 minutes.
Oh, all right then.
I'm sorry it's only that long, Dinah. The time has just flown past. But I thought what I'd do is I'd actually do some like Meridian work and just sit and just flip between these different information levels, yeah? And see, and also the other thing I thought I'd really be interested in doing, and that I'd be very interested to know what Shakura thinks about this, is the balance between using ki and intention. You know, because that Kyojitsu reaction, that was really interesting because that was a very distinct and clear difference between the Kyojitsu reaction, harmonization using the intention, and actually going, right, that's Jitsu, you know? And the thing is, I'm sure what we do when we do Shiatsu is we must go between those modes.
I think we do, yeah. It's in the same way as I was thinking that we sense it. We probably move to some degree, but we favour
one of them, yeah.
But I think, you know, a lot of the time you actively want something, some key to move through a blocked knee or something.
Exactly,
but then you're actually just creating space for harmonization to happen, tuning into the angels or whatever it is you do.
Yeah, sure.
Where, in a sense, it's that what Shakura spoke of, it's already happened.
Yeah,
they're perfect, or you know.
But you could do that even with the knee, though. You could say, okay,
yeah, of course you can. Yeah, the knee's perfect. But we move, don't we? It's in the same way as we move between local and global.
Yeah, exactly.
On a regular basis.
Because that is true. Because when I did the Kyojitsu reaction with using the key, it was much more of a three-dimensional feeling, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So should we try it? Okay. Do you know what, I honestly think I've learned more in the last 2 months than in the previous year. I've absolutely loved this summer school. It's been so brilliant. Okay, so let's see. So now what I'm doing now is I'm tuning into the heart meridian, okay, and I'm scanning the heart meridian onto the mental and spiritual levels. I'm going to switch through looking, listening, and sensing. And I'm actually getting the clearest picture through listening, funnily enough. Isn't that strange? Maybe it's because of you, who knows, whatever. Okay, so I'm going to tune into that, and I'm now going to use the intention of the harmonizing. I'm going to keep the frequency up. There we are. That feels good, doesn't it?
Very nice.
Yeah, okay. So now let's see if I can work the channels and see what happens. Okay. Just do some. I'm still getting most of the information through listening. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm tuning into the heart, your heart here. I'm scanning out into the border between the mental and spiritual levels, and I'm doing this connection with the kidney meridian here. You know. And also the other thing that I'm wondering is about this arm as well, you know? It's all part of the same story. Okay, so here we go, look, key. See, it's more local, isn't it? It brings it in more locally.
Yeah.
Okay, intention. I think part of it is because it's easier to stay out on the higher vibrational levels.
When you go with intention.
Yeah, that's part of it, I think.
But what's interesting then is as soon as you said that, I also got a whole historic time dimension come in.
Oh, did you? What about
this?
Oh, okay.
Remember I said I think it's old trauma stuff?
Yes, that's right.
And as soon as you said intention and went out, I then immediately jumped to some
bigger story,
past life, history,
bigger
whatever.
Story.
Something.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Because I guess another thing is there's more space there, isn't there?
Yeah, I think maybe that's it.
Yeah.
Now it's more space.
Yeah. Okay. So I was interested about this whole bone muscle thing that you were talking about as well.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go for something like, right, I've got like small intestine channel here, which is Jitsu, which has Jitsu and Mahara as well. Okay, so I'm going to go for Ki now, just Ki. See, I think that's pretty effective there.
Yeah.
Can you feel that really?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm working, so what I'm doing now is I'm holding Dinah's small intestine channel on a shoulder, which is tight, and I'm working the bladder channel down her arm here, down this bit of her arm, okay? And I'm using Ki now rather than intention. So now let me just see if I can get that intention of the shoulder being released and fix it more like, well, not fix it, but just like focus it more using the intention. Okay, let's see what that feels like. Hang on a second. Something like that.
Yeah, that's it.
That feels good too, though.
Yeah,
in a different
it does
way.
feel good, but I really like the first one.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
So there still is a place for Ki.
Yeah.
Because I reckon what we do is we probably switch
automatically
without even realising it.
I suspect that.
Yeah.
It felt great.
What that connection?
Yeah. Connection.
Because you've got the water element to do with the bones as well, haven't you?
Exactly, and I think, and like this tinnitus is a classic.
Oh yeah, of course.
Kidney
thing. Yeah. Okay, right. So let's try the other side. Wow, it is very tight on this side too, isn't it?
Yes, to my surprise this morning.
Yeah. Oops, I'm completely out of shot now. All they can do is see my hand. Do you want to move a little bit down that way? We need a camera operator.
Yeah, sorry.
Is
that okay?
Oh yes, hey, I'm back in shot again now. Okay, so here we go. So I'm going to go for bladder. Okay, let's see. Oh, it doesn't work so well here.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
No fun.
Kidney. There must be some other meridian involved with this. Okay, I'm just going to see if I can figure out what it is.
Yeah, lift up gallbladder.
You think so?
Maybe.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. Okay, let's try gallbladder. And then for now, I'll try liver. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So I'm using my fingertips here just to go into the liver meridian, holding small intestine, and I'm working gallbladder as well here. Just see if I can get a bit of movement on the gallbladder. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I switch to the pure intention then?
Why not?
Yeah? Okay, so we've got assimilation, we've got free flow chi type of thing, haven't we? So I guess there must be some kind of holding, some emotional holding or something in there. So let me just imagine that that's all completely perfect, something like that.
Nice.
Does it feel good?
Yes, movement down small intestine.
All right.
Below the shoulder blade.
Yeah.
Down the back.
Yeah.
Felt nice.
It's less localized, isn't it?
It feels quite diffuse. Yes.
Yeah.
Quite spread out.
Yeah, that's what it feels like to me as well. And then if I switch back to the Ki, I'm going to switch back to Ki now. There you go.
Yeah,
You've got like you're back to working the channel now, aren't you? Like Kyojitsu channel. It strikes me that when we're working normally, we are always monitoring that Kyojitsu reaction, aren't we? Just like we did in the Hara. So there's no reason why we can't switch.
Well, you say that.
Yeah.
I think sometimes I'm not so actively monitoring Kyojitsu.
No.
I'm more monitoring some barometer that I've picked up.
Okay.
Like
fine.
this morning, one of my clients had this, and it was green and spiky.
All right.
And that was what I was monitoring
visual.
as I really
Visual and sensory.
I know.
Yeah.
But that was what I picked up in the scan, and that's what was changing as I worked heart protector in the leg. So that was
I see. Yeah.
that was what I was
Yeah.
monitoring rather than the jitsu area.
Okay.
Do you know what I
So
mean?
why don't I work on your neck and head and neck then? And I'll do that then. Shall I do that?
Yeah, whatever you like.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is do what Dinah suggested, which is I'm going to, instead of using the, are you okay like that?
Yeah, I'm fine. No, I'm fine.
Instead, I'm going to switch then. I'll switch between using local barometers in terms of Kyojitsu, because we've got a small intestine and bladder, haven't we? There, we can use that.
Yeah.
And then I'll switch to this, because it was very graphic, wasn't it, what you said there?
Yeah.
Just check the time. Oh my goodness, time is running. We've got 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's just do one more thing. We'll try that.
Yeah, just cure my tinnitus.
Oh yeah, I'll just try and do that while I'm along the line. I just think of it as perfect. That should
It
do
is.
it.
Yeah, that's what. Now you want to.
Yeah. Wow, quite a lot going on in your neck. as well,
Exactly,
there.
I
My
know.
goodness me. That's the small intestine there, and then there's the liver, and then this is the kidney and bladder. This is the bladder here. Bladder. Yeah. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll hold here, and I'll go into bladder 10. And I'm going to go into tonifying the channel. I'm going right in and tonifying it. Okay. Now when I do the other side, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for this focus. I'm going to now focus out. Okay, and I'm going to visualize it being perfect, that connection between the physical and between the mental and the spiritual. Okay, so here we go. Totally different feeling, isn't it? It's much less dense, isn't it, in the channel? Is that what you're feeling?
Yeah. And out here
More
somewhere.
space,
Yeah,
yeah.
much more space. But this had quite a strong effect on an emotional level. I could.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, I felt you were just touching on the edge of. I think it's more the liver,
Oh, right.
gallbladder thing,
Oh, right, yeah.
which I think is some held emotional stuff.
Oh, right, okay. So
Yeah.
maybe that was the Kyojitsu thing that was moving there then.
Yeah, this thing.
Because it's on this side, isn't
exactly,
it? The liver and
exactly,
the
yeah.
bladder on that side. So that's worth bearing in mind as well, isn't it? If you get local diagnosis and stuff like that. Okay, let's just... Okay, what I'm doing now is I'm just visualizing tonifying the channel and just letting any Kyojitsu reactions take place, in terms of the heart and the... I've just got my finger right on bladder 10 and I'm sending chi into the channel. Okay, and now I'm going to switch to intention. So I'm going to switch. I'm going to keep this exactly the same amount of pressure there, same amount of connection, but now I'm going to switch out into the mental and spiritual level there. There we go. Did you feel that? There was a sort of moment there which reminded me of the Kyojitsu reaction we did in the Hara. I think you definitely need to be booked in for a whole session planner.
Chance would be a fine thing.
Okay, let's just see if there are any questions. We've only got a few more minutes left. We're finishing up. Let's have a look. I wonder if we've got any questions. I don't know if we've got any questions marked up. Oh, we have got 2 questions marked up. Hang on a minute. By moving among the 3 modes of receiving... Oh, all right, okay. Oh, my goodness, there's loads of questions being marked up now. I'm not sure, Gregory, when that question was posted, actually. Does this include physical and non-physical feelings? I wonder what that referred to. I'm not too sure. That's interesting, isn't it? Yeah, because actually with the sensing mode, you can sense things in your body that aren't necessarily physical. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like this was an emotional feeling.
Yeah, so it can be physical and non-physical. Mm-hmm. Let's have a look. Here's a question from Loretta. By moving among the 3 modes of receiving and 2 modes of sharing out, was Cliff setting some kind of framework for working in meridians? I think I missed the point of the exercise. Oh, well, well, hopefully, what we were doing, Loretta, is basically we were just exploring to see whether we got the same information, and it was kind of like an experiment to see which ones we tended to use. That was really the purpose of it. Yeah. It's not like you would do that on every client or anything. It's more like deconstructing it for ourselves. And the other really exciting thing, I think, is in terms of training. When you're training, if you're a teacher and you're trying to teach energy work, you're trying to teach perception, what is it that you're actually teaching? And I think deconstructing it like that and giving students an opportunity to explore different modes means that they may feel more secure in the ones that they're familiar with.
Yeah, and it was based, Loretta, on the exercise that was in Cindy's webinar presentation. I really recommend watching that.
Yes.
And it's really about knowing ourselves as well, what our natural default sensing mechanism is.
Yeah.
And can we enhance that, or can we modulate it? You know, there are some people, for example, who suffer with picking up too much via somatic empathy symptoms that they hold in their own body, and it's okay to have that headache for a second, but you don't want to carry it about.
No,
so
exactly.
So it's more building a relationship with our own modes of perception, I think.
Here we go, and look, we've got.
And don't do hard.
Marit doesn't do hard diagnosis, just uses intention. Seeds of one good thing in the client, and what happens will happen. I don't use specific points for meridians. That's transcending the whole form.
Yeah.
I think you'll get on really well with Alice, because she doesn't do any of that either.
No. Loretta says that's actually great.
Yeah. Oh, great. Okay, good. Thank you very much, Loretta.
And Nick says, what do I know now about liquid easy radiance?
Thank you,
It's
Nick.
a coming.
Great. Yeah, brilliant. Relax the jar question. I don't know.
I don't understand that.
No, Maria, I'm not quite sure what that was, Maria. But anyway, we've got to finish. I can't believe that's just absolutely sped past. And you know what's coming next, aren't you? Yes. Can you help us keep the lights on? Because all the recordings there are online, that you can see loads of bonus content. Kat's been working away. It's not on draft anymore. It's absolutely out there for you. And how is all this lovely stuff possible? It's possible because some of you and many of you have donated or are regular supporting members. And we're going to have more and more membership benefits coming up in the autumn. And we do literally survive month by month. So if you value this summer school and you've learned anything as much as we have, then please donate. And a really big thank you to all of you who have donated. It really does literally makes a difference with the lights. We can keep the lights on. Okay, and look what we've got next week. We have got the start of Celebration September, we're calling it. Celebration September, yeah. Because it's a massive but double birthday this month, September, starting tomorrow. It's actually 40 years that I've been doing Shiatsu. I can't believe it, 40 years. And it's exactly 20 years that New Energy Work has been working as well. And so we're going to revisit the very first online seminar that we did with Pauline Saki in 2001, 20 years ago. And we've got 4 webinars in September. We're going to be looking back over the last 20 years and 40 years.
Amazing.
It's incredible, yeah. And so I hope you can join us for that, and you'll be getting an email soon.
I'd like to point out that 20 and 40 makes 60, and I think the 60th anniversary is diamond, isn't it?
Oh, is it?
Yes, I think this could be your diamond anniversary.
Very good. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Okay, so thank you very, very much. Let's go back in the chat and.
We're in the chat.
We're in the chat. Yes. Oh, yes. There we are. There's lots of hearts. What's your age, Cliff? Christina. I started very, very young, Christina. Very, very young. Right, here we go. Thank you so much for the summer school, and thank you for all the wonderful contributions we had. And it was great to showcase the team as well. Really good.
Yeah.
Aren't they great?
Fabulous team.
Fabulous
Go team. Norwich Dream Team.
Okay, see you next week for Celebration September. Okay, bye-bye. So let's end the session.
Yes, end.
There we go.